All right. OxFit Podcast, episode 31.
Wow. I can't believe I'm here for episode 31.
Is that a special number for you?
No, it's just,
I think you say that every time you're on.
Is
You just
it?
can't believe you're here.
I was going to say, I'm so excited to be back in the studio. Salty beef, baby.
There we go. Salty beef. Last time you were on, I think you and Aunt were talking about OX100 just getting started.
Mm-hmm. We went into, a little detail of what was to come for OX100, but haven't been here since it ended. So this is an exciting time.
Sweet. Yeah. I always think of like the January 1st OX100 as like the big one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one that kind of wrapped up earlier in the month of April.
Yep.
And then the way we do OX100, you have like a rolling start. So if you didn't know, anytime you wanted to join OX100, you can do it any day, every month.
I mean, usually every month
Yeah.
I'm kicking one off. But if you're like, hey, I'm going out of town, or like just recently happened, someone was like, spring break, when I come back, I would love to be able to start. Cool, let's get it going. The minute you come back, we can get you sent over everything. And then that following Monday, we can start. I like to give people enough time, read over everything, get themselves together, get themselves set up for success.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to rush
Yeah.
into anything. Even when we start, I like to call it a week of discovery.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, you're kind of like, take that time to research things, see, I give you recipes, I give you literally everything that you need to succeed. But I know some people like to do a little deeper dive on what I've given them.
Yeah.
So
I know when I talk to some people, they're like, oh, like this isn't the best week for me to start, and like, oh, this and that. And I just tell people, unless you're literally out of town, like away from your house for a good chunk of it, it's the perfect week to start, because I know you still have to feed yourself. You're going to have to go to the grocery store. You're going to have to buy food. So why don't you just start and do your very best to just follow what we give you and just kind of keep going from there. So even if you're busy, that's a perfect time to start.
But that's the thing is, we've talked about this before when you and I were on here. It's like people are always waiting for the right time, but there will never be a right time. Yeah. Everybody's always going through something. Everyone's dealing with different things, but what makes you different is how you handle those things, how you deal with what's in front of you. So you can't wait for the right time, because you honestly will be waiting forever.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the habits you learn throughout OX100 just make things seem like so just less daunting. I know you and I were both like out of town this past weekend. We didn't get home until like later Sunday evening. And I feel like me, before OX100 or before, learning how to properly like take care of my nutrition and plan out my weeks, I would still be going out to eat for breakfast and lunch every day, probably through this week, because I didn't have a chance to meal prep over the weekend. But now it's just second nature. Like Sunday night, quick trip to Costco, grabbed the easiest stuff I could get to get some meals prepped, and it took 20 minutes, So it's little things like that, just changing the way you do things that you were already going to do.
Right. And when I say that it just makes your life easier to be prepared, it really goes without saying that setting yourself up for success is the only way that you're going to be able to reach your goals. When you were saying that we got home this weekend, I mean, the last thing I wanted to do was go to the grocery store and meal prep. But what's worse is when I am at work through the week and I'm training and I'm trying to get everything done, I don't have anything to eat. Then I'm hangry. Then I'm mad at everybody. And then I don't feel well. And guess what? I did that to myself, when all I would have to do was take an hour to 2 hours to get everything ready and be prepared for the week.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think this whole OX100, the goal setting, whatever you're trying to do, our approach is just taking the things that you are going to do anyway. You're going to go to the grocery store. You're going to go to the gym. You're going to go out to eat with your family once a week. You're going to do all of these things regardless of whether or not you're in a nutrition program or not, or you're being coached by someone or not. So why don't we just make small changes to those things that are already going to happen, and it's going to set you up for success. It's not going to be this dramatic life shift. It's still going to be going to the same places pretty much, doing the same things, but maybe you're just buying different things from the grocery store. You're ordering something else when you go out to eat. You're going to bed 30 minutes earlier than you normally do. So small changes to things that were going to happen anyway can lead to huge results.
Yeah, because what if I told you that only 8% of people actually reach their goals? That leaves 92%. Let that sink in. 8% of people reach their goals. Why is that? Why? And it's just something that you said earlier. You get home late on a Sunday. That could be a barrier. That could be something in that moment of time that's too hard to do. So you're just like, I'm just not going to do it. It's like when you wake up in the morning, you end up waking up late. You don't have any time to cook breakfast. Do you have any meals prepped? No, because the night before it was too late. These barriers just stack on top of each other, and it gets to a point that you're just not able to climb over. So that's going to be one reason that's stopping you from reaching your goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not having those systems in place just to make your life easier.
Yep. And what happens with those systems is you have to be specific in what you're trying to achieve. So what ends up happening is, why do only 8% achieve their goals? Because they've set a specific goal, a specific timeline. So say you want to do something in 12 weeks. We're reading that book, the 12-week year. And one thing I love about it is we've set our goals, but now we have tactics. And those tactics are what we are going to do along the way to reach that goal. Every day you're checking something off. And that's something that when you do a goal setting session with you, or you work with me on your nutrition, you get that help in starting to find the specific goal that you're working towards. You get those tactics because every single day you've either got a form to fill out, you've got something at the end of the week to send in an email, a video to send. You have to be doing these things because you're going to be held accountable for the goals that you're trying to reach.
Yeah. Yeah. And held accountable to realistic expectations. We're never going to ask you to do something unrealistic for you in your life. You know, I don't want people to think that, you know, they come to do OX100 or they come to a goal setting session and they say, I want to lift this amount of weight in 6 weeks. Well, first of all, if it's just completely unattainable, I'll tell you. Be like, unless you want to stop what you're doing and come to the gym 4 hours a day and eat these 3 meals 3 times a day for 6 weeks, like, that's just not realistic. So I'll be honest with you, that's not a realistic goal. Let's set a realistic one. And then it's habit stacking on top of things that we're already planning on doing to get you closer. And it's not just that mindless, well, I said I had a goal and I've been coming to the gym every day and eating kind of healthy, so I don't know why I didn't get there. But it's like you're saying, they don't have systems in place that actually allow them to every day check off, okay, I did these things. I know that if I keep doing these, by the end of the week, I'll see this result. By the end of 4 weeks, I'll see this result. And then those things just stack on top of each other. And I think that's exactly what happens during OX100, whether people realize it or not. We're just habit stacking across 100 days with that weekly accountability with you. And the end result is awesome. I mean, this group of people that just did OX100 that finished in April was amazing. You and I were just looking at photos with Ant before we started recording, and it's insane.
I was like, who allowed you to be that jacked? Who said you could look that good?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the people that I've worked with, it was the biggest compliment to her to hear someone else in class be like, I want to look like them.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, they didn't realize in the moment. They were questioning themselves. They're like, they weren't feeling well, so they missed a week in the gym. And they had texted me. It was funny. They were like, I'm sick. I'm dying. I'm not going to be able to do pull-ups anymore. I was like, you're okay. All this progress isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so when they came back, crushed it in the gym and was like, oh, no, I'm fine. And I was like, no, you're great.
Yeah.
You have nothing to worry about. But we get so caught up sometimes in doing what we're doing or what we're not doing that we forget what all the hard work we've already just put in. But that goes to show, though, that person also is still working with me. The 100 days are over, but they've got some goals that they're trying to achieve, and they know that when we're working together, we're hitting all those goals.
Yeah.
But they also know that they've tried to do it by themselves before. They couldn't do it. They got to a certain point and just couldn't do it. But now, together as a team, because that is one of the ways to succeed as a team, it's the best way to succeed, we can both get there together. So, because when you start OX100, you're already at a point where you're unsure. Some people, they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Why? Because we run from discomfort and uncertainty. So what OX100 does is it puts you in that place to be like, okay, I know for certain when I do all of these steps and track my macros, check in with Caitlin, come to OxFit, hit this many workouts, I know for certain that I'm going to hit my goals. But then it ends. Then here comes this rush of discomfort again and uncertainty because you're by yourself.
Yeah. It is true. It's like it ends. I remember probably the first few times, and even now, I still, when I finish it, because I always try to do it with a new goal, when it ends, I'm just like, kind of standing there like, what now? And it's like, probably have a few days of eating like garbage and, all the things, which is fine. I mean, life's about balance. But then, yeah, how do you come back from that and how do you reassess? Like, okay, I put in all of this hard work. Like, what can I do now? And being okay with that new level of discomfort and having to ask yourself, what's my next goal? Like, what am I going to work for?
Right. And I can speak on personal experience just because I've been going through that. The last few weeks, we finished OX100, and I took that little bit of a break. I mean, it was nice. It was nice to not be tracking. I was just eating intuitively. But what ended up happening for me is I wound up not eating enough. We've gotten, more back into training, and I felt tired, sluggish, more sore, and I was like, I've got to get back on it. But that's the thing is I kept telling myself that, but I wasn't taking myself seriously. And so I just spent the last 3 weeks feeling, getting down, feeling bad about myself, not thinking I'm making any progress. So I had to stop myself, and I was like, okay, reassess, just like you said. So what I did to set myself up for success this time was trying something different. Because in that book, we've been reading that book, it says if you're not in control of your time, then you're not in control of your goals and your results. And I was like, oh, damn, I've got to get there. So what I've done now is reset my schedule. I know I need to be eating at a certain time. I know I need to be hitting my macros. I know that there are things that I should be doing. So why am I not doing them? So I've set myself up. I'm ready. And I know it's only been 2 days, but I'm like, okay, here we go. This feels really good. So what happens when OX100 ends? You've got to ask yourself, do I still take this seriously? Because a lot of times when we're doing OX100, we're almost like on the fence. We're in a half-committed relationship. And just like any real relationship, if you're only half committed, you're going to be in it for a time, but then you're going to be like, I'm done. You never were both feet in. You were only one foot touching the water, but you needed to be both feet in. And so that, as I could say, is another barrier that you hit. You just weren't taking it seriously and you weren't committed. So then when you're not doing OX100, it's easy to be there, not taking it seriously and not committed. And you just go back to doing things out of habit. Yeah, you've created all these habits during OX100, but now on your own, are you able to implement those things? It gets to be harder.
Yeah. And I think it is cool to see, like, as the phases go, people just get more and more confident. And, like, if you're actually doing OX100 and actually following the steps, checking in, doing all the things, like, week by week, you just see people getting more secure and, like, confident in themselves. And it's okay for that to go away as you go into the next step. And, like, look for a new goal and look for some more guidance and, realize that everyone needs a coach. Like, it's okay that you're not able to do it alone. I can't do it alone. I ask you for help every day about what I'm eating, if I'm doing something right. And you're the same way with me. And that's what it's about, is helping each other, putting your heads together and, getting it done. But yeah, I'm excited for all the folks that just finished, all the folks that finished maybe in the past, have been kind of out of it for a couple years. I would suggest anyone that's done OX100 before, do it again. Try it again with a new goal. Because a lot of people say, like, oh, I've done it once, I don't need to do it again. I get it. I got the gist. It's like, okay, then why haven't you shown me any results? Like, if you know what to do, why aren't you doing it? And it's because we may, in theory, know what to do, but we don't know how to execute it. And I mean, we hear the same thing with people that come to the gym and they're like, well, why would I pay for this if I can just buy equipment and do it at home? It's like, well, did you buy equipment and are you doing it at home? And they're like, no. And it's like, okay. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but it's funny you say that, because I had someone who did OX100 last year reach out to me a few months back, and they have all the tools. They know what to do, and reached out and was like, hey, I got off track, because what happens? Life gets busy. We forget, and so reached out to me and was like, hey, I have been trying, but I just can't seem to really get on it the way I know I can be on it. I need you. Let's work together again. And what has happened again? It's been a few months and the results came like that. Why? They already know what they're doing, but they needed the accountability, the guidance, and the help. Because I know where I'm sitting right now, I would not be doing what I'm doing, because even coaches need coaches.
Yeah.
You think that I'm just going to be out here all willy-nilly trying to hit all these goals by myself? Absolutely not. But do I have you as my head coach doing my programming? Yes. Do I have Ant as my nutrition coach setting my macros? Yes. I need coaches. I'm not going to be able to hit my goals without it.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I think people should keep that in mind, as they're wrapping it up. They're looking for a new challenge, looking for what's next. I know for me, coming off of OX100, you're helping me a lot, because I've got a lot of goals this year. I'm training for a pretty big competition in September that's going to require me to improve a lot of things. So I'm trying to get stronger. I'm trying to get fitter. And I'm also trying to improve, like, a lot of specific skills, like with gymnastics work. So it's truly trying to improve myself as an athlete all around. And having that specific goal to focus on is really helpful for me as someone that's programming. I know it's helpful for you as someone that helps me do nutrition whenever we have that focus in mind. But those are the athletes that I want to help. Even though I'm training, I'm still a coach to people, and I want to be that resource. So if you have a specific goal, if you have a competition you're trying to do, we can go on that journey together and get you across the finish line, figuratively and literally.
Right.
As a team, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's what I love to do. And I just, outside of even competitions, I just had a personal client that I helped for their like annual like firefighter fitness test.
Yes.
So yeah, if you're someone with specific goals that you need to hit, that comes down to you getting better as an athlete, I want to be there, and I want to show you that you don't have to change the things that you were going to do anyway. So if you're coming to the gym every day already, you go to the grocery store already, you spend maybe an extra 30, 40 minutes a week doing something already. You don't have to change any of those things. You just need to be coachable, and you need to be willing to work with other people that are on the same road as you and want to help, and we can all get there together.
Yeah, because it's like you said, if you're already at the gym, we're not asking you when we're coaching you to be at the gym extra hours. We're not making you stay up late every night cooking. You're stuck in these thoughts of, I can't do this. I can't because of this. I've got this going on. But you're already making that time. But how you utilize that time is what's going to be where you hit that finish line, where you reach your goal. But how will you know how to prioritize and tweak that time if you don't have someone guiding you along the way?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen our athletes like over the years do things they never thought they would do. I mean, we've taken people to triathlons. We've taken people to these CrossFit competitions. We've taken people to marathons, all of these things because we all collectively like joined around that common goal, and we just had fun training, had fun working hard. And I mean, that's really what it's all about. And that's what we want people to get on board with. You know, instead of looking at goals as something to be scared of, something to be excited about, and know that we're here as resources to help you get there. But yeah, sweet. I can't believe it's almost May.
I still can. I was just saying that in class this morning to my moms. I was like, can you guys believe April is basically over?
Yeah. How have things been going in EAV? It's popping.
EAV's been off the chain. I mean, I watched someone this morning who set a goal for later in the year. They kept saying, they're like, oh, I'm going to get that later in the year. I'm working towards that later in the year. Today, use a 35-pound dumbbell in the workout.
Let's go.
And she was like, at first she grabbed it. She was like, I don't know if I can do it. I was like, no, yes, you can. Let's go. And I was like, what? Before we even started the workout, I asked everyone in the class, I said, what is your goal? We talked about goals. We talk about them every day. We've already set some for the year. I was like, what is your goal? Is your goal strength? Is your goal endurance? Are you trying to now bring strength and endurance together? What is it? And I was like, but whatever your goal is how you need to work out today. And everyone's was like, oh my God, everyone. They were so ready. And then they just come in and they crush it. And they're like so surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But I love when they surprise themselves.
Yeah.
But we have so many new faces who have just added so much joy and character and personality to EAV, because you know EAV be a little crazy.
Yeah.
But what's even more awesome is the people that have joined recently are setting this tone of they're all coming in with goals.
Yeah.
And so people who have already been there, they're seeing how hard these people are working and how they're pushing themselves. And they're like, oh, shit, I need to get on that train.
Yeah. And Aunt and I were talking, like, it's so cool to look at, like, even the leaderboard even and just not recognize everyone's name. And it's like, there are some people coming in. They're not messing around. Like, they're taking this seriously. which is, it's so cool to see people's like strengths come through in the workouts and see people get excited about it. But yeah, that's awesome. I know probably one of the bigger changes in EAV is that we just added back teens class
Oh, yeah.
to Tuesday and Thursday at 4:15 in EAV. We have our teens class, and then
It's a big group.
yeah, there's a lot of guys,
Yeah,
couple little girls,
Couple girls.
couple girls.
But we're rocking 8 to 10.
I love that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Grant Park, we still have my little crew, Sam and Avery, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Grant Park's class is from 3:30 to 4:15, and then EAV's a little later because for some reason every school gets out at a different freaking time.
Which is wild.
Why
to
can't
me.
school all end at the same? Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road, but that's the the ongoing issue with trying to schedule the teens class. But we've got two options: an earlier one, a later one. And these kids are just having a blast, and I love it. And it's just the coolest, just, I don't want to say cute to embarrass them, but it is the cutest thing.
It's so cute.
It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And yeah, it's just a bunch of friends that come hang out for 45 minutes and work out and goof around, and it's just awesome.
But I think what's even more awesome is their parents come to the gym.
Yeah.
And their parents, they'll sit and watch them work out. And it motivates them even more.
Yeah.
To be their best selves and, work out and just be like, they're like, oh my God, my kid is having the best time.
Yeah.
But also, how is my kid already doing better squats and pull-ups than I am?
I think it's so cool. Like parents that go to OxFit and then also just the parents that bring their kids to teens. I feel like every single parent or guardian that has come has said, I wish they had this when I was younger. And it's so true. And even as someone who was that age not very long ago, they still didn't have it. Like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Even as like a girl playing sports growing up, I was never exposed to a weight room in a positive way. And that's exactly what we're doing with teens, is just exposing these kids to fitness and to working out and how fun it can be to just be with your friends. And the only thing you're working towards is you getting a little bit better. We're not worried about winning a game. We're not worried about missing the ball or, not doing so well at practice. There's no expectation. There's just showing up, getting a great workout led by a coach where you're going to learn how to do, these lifelong skills, and you're going to be surrounded by your friends the whole time.
I want to go.
I know.
Wait,
and it's
I do go.
You do
I
go. What
here.
are you
What am I talking about?
But it's fun. And I mean, even one of my teens, she's been a member for probably right at a year now, just was so unsure when she came. Did not vibe with the gym. Working out was not her thing. And she's been crushing it. We did her baseline testing. She beat probably like 40% of the adults at OxFit in her 500-meter row and her air squats. And just seeing that confidence come out and the joy she has when she's pushing herself in a workout or if she's trying a new skill is so cool. Because I think that's what is lacking for a lot of kids in sports and in school, is a hesitancy to try because they don't want the embarrassment of failing. But at OxFit Teens, there is no failure. The only failure would be not trying. So if you try, that's good enough for us.
Yeah, but I'll also have to raise you one there because it's at OxFit. At OxFit, there's no fear of failure. And that's in the teens, that's in our adults. And the confidence comes even with the adults.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I just lifted that weight, or I did 4 pull-ups, and the way it radiates on their faces and shows in the rest of their lives. Like fitness doesn't just, coming to the gym and being disciplined and motivated to come here doesn't just stay in the gym. It spans across everything that we do as people.
Yeah.
Because there are things that I've learned in the gym that have translated to my life that have changed my whole life. So coming to OxFit that's what we say with OX100. It's change your habits and change your life.
Yeah.
So the changes you're making in the gym are changes also happening in your life.
Oh, for sure. And I see it like, we see it with everyone, but even like the younger kids, they just, their parents say they're more focused at school. They're sleeping better because we're wearing them out for 45 minutes. But it's true. Having some controlled chaos, I will say, it's not always super organized, but we get them through that workout. But, things like that, even if it's just 2 or 3 days a week, make such a huge difference. So, yeah, I mean, right now, pretty much for the summer, we just want as many kids exposed to it as possible. We're not worried about getting you to pay right away during the first class. If you have a kid that's interested and they want to come try it, just bring them.
Yeah.
Like at Grant Park Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or at EAV Tuesday, Thursday, you can shoot me an email. We just want to get kids in the door and get them to see, what's happening in these classes and get them involved, because we know what it's going to lead to, and we know that it's going to change their life because we see how it changes people's lives 20, 30 years down the road when they find us as adults. Yep. But imagine what it's going to do if they find it at 11, 12, or 13 years old. So I'm super pumped about the teens program. I think this summer that is really going to get even bigger and better. And then come fall, when school comes back around, it's just going to be like a staple part of these kids, like sport and, after school routine, which is going to be awesome.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I'm super excited.
I'm trying to think of what other cool stuff. We've got pickleball coming up May 4th.
Yep.
We are really getting into this summer fitness cycle, which is super exciting. OX100 wrapped up, but every month starting a new one. If anybody wants to jump in on that, you can just email Caitlin. And then, once again, if you've got big goals, nutrition goals, tell Caitlin. If you've got a competition, if you've got a very specific fitness goal that you need some help working towards, I'm your lady.
Yeah. I mean, don't get stuck in the place of where you finally come and you get in the OX100 or you get in with your coaching and you sit there and you're like, damn, I should have been doing this already.
A lot can get done in 10 weeks. I think 10 weeks is pretty much what's going to be left of this summer quarter. 10 weeks goes by so fast.
It really
and
does.
You can get so much done. I mean, once we start posting these before and afters from this OX100, that was 100 days. Think about how fast this year has gone by. If you had started doing something in January, you would have already achieved that big goal or milestone by now, and you would be ready to move on to the next thing. So don't wait. Get started. There's never a perfect time.
No.
Even if you don't know what you want to get started with, set up a goal setting session. We'll figure it out.
Yep. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. 100 days is going to pass by anyway. So why not do it with the most awesome people?
Let's go. Episode 31.
We did it.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's go.